Thank you very much for inviting me to speak here. It's a really great pleasure to be here after working for so long with the City of Vancouver, with Metro Vancouver, and with the National Zero Waste Council. It's amazing to meet all these people and many of you who work every day to make circular economy from theory into practice in your region, in your field, and your businesses. So thank you for inviting me. And if I can start with a reflection on the sessions that we've been discussing today, from textiles to food waste to business innovation and plastic waste, most of the activities, the human and the economic activities associated with these material flows, with these functions, are centralized in cities. Cities is where we buy clothes and discard them. Cities is where we live, we work, we commute, is where we go out and eat and create food waste. And of course, cities are major hubs of business innovation. So it just makes sense that with the cities becoming a growing house for the growing population of the world and generating already today 85% of the global GDP, cities are really reflecting and amplifying the global economy with its challenges and opportunities. And the opportunities are quite immense. If we think about the challenges are quite immense. The opportunities come at a price. And this price is growing waste generated by cities. Today, cities generate about 70% of world's waste and are responsible for almost 80% of the global greenhouse emissions. So this comes on top of ground where the global urban population is really putting a strain on the materials and the resources. And going forward, if you look at the trajectories of 2050, it is more and more doing so. And a lot of these challenges and a lot of the problems that generated are due to the current linear system. The operational system of cities is to take materials, use them, and then dispose them. They lack the regenerative and restorative mechanism to capture everything, all the materials that come into cities, and generate continuous value out of them. And this growing structural waste within the urban functions generate a lot of challenges. Just to name a couple and the economic, social, and environmental impacts of them, if we look at the mobility systems in city, a European car is parked 92% of the time, and even when it's on the road, there is only 1.5 people on average in it. Yet we spend massive amount of money dealing with issues of congestion and air pollution and traffic jams. And if you look at the houses that we live in and the offices we work in, an average office is idle and 60% of the time, even during work hours. Yet the prices of rent for offices in the city are immense, and it pushes out some of the small and medium businesses and reduces the diversity of the business community in the city. Similar about what happens to our buildings in the end of life. The construction and demolition waste accounts for more than a third of European waste that goes into landfills. And the price that is, the economic value that is lost around this is really staggering, not to mention the environmental impacts of construction and demolition waste. But along with these massive challenges comes lots of opportunities. And what we do with cities in the L&M Cultural Foundation is we explore how, by applying the circle principles of designing out waste and pollution from our key urban functions and finding new ways to keep products and materials in use and regenerate natural capital while providing a strong economic sense for doing so. We look into how to tackle these challenges and create the opportunities that will help us to address these challenges going forward. And we work with many cities around the world: Vancouver, Tel Aviv, New York, Austin, Phoenix, London, and so on. And we, together through practice and through research, we find that applying the circular economy principles to urban functions can help to reduce pressure from municipal budgets that are already so strained, as we all know. In Canada alone, the municipal budget that is going into waste management is $3 billion Canadian dollars a year. Think about what we can do with this money if there is no waste to manage. If we look at disposable income in the age of economic crises and instability, circular economy paths can help generate household income of 11,000 euros a year in Europe, and I'm sure that the stats will be similar in the Canadian context. Encourage innovation. I'm sure that Wayne is going to mention how London is working with businesses in the city to really empower the local business community to work with this with the structural waste and find new ways to generate economic value out of it. Reduce carbon emissions. The European Commission found that by applying circular economy within the regional framework, we can reduce almost 80% of carbon emissions by 2050. With looking at the increasing livability in cities, addressing issues of pollution, creating new jobs, creating new affordable housing, this goes a long way into what are priorities set by cities. And finally, job creation. From the analysis that done by City of London, circular economy can help generate 12,000 new jobs by 2036. And in the age of financial and employment instability, that is not a number that should be overlooked. So the urban policymakers have a big role to play in shaping how this is going to play out, from spreading awareness and engaging the right stakeholders to going through policy changes such as public procurement and providing a neutral platform for collaboration. And I'm looking forward to discuss this going forward and hear your reflections on the work we're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julia.